Arch Linux. That's our topic for today. Welcome to the Penguin Revolution, and today we're talking about Arch. So what is Arch? It's an independent Linux distribution. It's not based off of anything, it's its own operating system build. It provides a minimum base install. You don't get a bunch of software, it's just the operating system. It doesn't even include a graphical user interface for it. It's just command line on a base install. You have to install all of that yourself. It's on a rolling update model. With bleeding edge software, what a rolling update model is, you don't get like specific operating system versions like you have with Fedora. I think they're on like Fedora 31 now. Ubuntu 19.10 is set to release in a couple weeks. You don't have those version numbers. You just keep it up to date, and you're on the latest version of Arch. There's no major releases, nothing like that you have to deal with. So what are the advantages of running Arch? You have the ability to configure your system the way you want to. There's no software, no bloat, just the software and settings that you want to have on it. You have access to the Arch user repository, which is a huge repository that's community maintained. You have access to almost everything that's available in Arch in the AUR. You don't have to like build things from source if you don't have it in the repository. You just go and access the Arch user repository, download it, and install it. Just that easy. You also have the latest software versions, which includes the latest features. That's basically it. It supports the latest hardware. You have the latest kernels that Arch provides. You have the latest hardware drivers, the latest microcodes. If you're running really new hardware, you want to be running Arch. The Arch documentation is great. You have the Arch wiki. It's written in a language that's easy to understand for the new user. I often say that if you use Linux, you should be bookmarking that Arch wiki. The disadvantages. The latest software versions, that's also a disadvantage. If you are running the latest and greatest software, you also open yourself up to the latest and greatest new bugs. They tend to break themselves often. Not necessarily debilitating, but you might find yourself not able to run a program, and you will need to know how to roll that back. That leads into the next point. Special maintenance may be required. I always recommend Timeshift for backups. You can remove unmaintained software in the AUR. That is a big thing that can break your Pac-Man, is unmaintained AUR software that's not updating. And then every once in a while you have to update your download mirror list, or else you won't be able to update your system. You also to install, you have to build it in the command line. There's no graphical install. It's definitely not an install process for beginners. And the community forums really suck. You won't be able to find much help if you're a new person. A lot of times you'll get a response that is RTFM. Now I'm not going to say what it really means, but it stands for Read the Effing Manual. And that's all they want. They won't even tell you what it is in the wiki. They'll just tell you to read it. It's kind of an elitist attitude. I don't agree with it. I think it's a lazy answer, but that is just the way that. So, if you're a new user, I wouldn't suggest going to the community support forums because a lot of times you're going to get this answer. So, is Arch right for you? Well, I can't really answer that. Only you can determine that, but there are a few questions you want to ask yourself to determine that. Are you running the latest hardware? If your hardware is less than 3 months old, you might want to be using Arch. Do you want the latest software and operating system features? And are you a developer or tester? If you answer yes to any of these questions, Arch might be right for you. So what if you're new to Linux and you want to try Arch? Well, there is an option for you. It's Manjaro Linux. It has a GUI installer. You don't have to deal with the command line installer. You just press next and configure your options in a GUI installer. It also has a GUI package manager, unlike mainline Arch, called Palmac. It's actually really a nice front end for your package managers. You still have access to the AUR in Manjaro. You have to enable it in Palmac, but you still have access to it. And you also have a desktop environment pre-installed. Basically, you just go on the site, you pick a desktop environment ISO, and it comes with it in pre-install. Any desktop and window manager is supported. If Arch supports it, chances are Manjaro does too. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and post them. Go ahead and leave a like, share, subscribe, and have a nice day.